Hello, and welcome to Cloud9 Stories. I am so glad you are here tonight. Whatever this day held for you, whatever you carried, whatever you had to push through, whatever was left unfinished, set it down now. Right here, right now, you do not need to carry any of it. The day is behind you. This moment is yours alone. Get comfortable. Let the weight of your body sink into whatever is beneath you. Soften your shoulders. Unclench your hands. Let your face relax. Your forehead, your jaw, the space behind your eyes. Let all of that go soft and still. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment and let it all the way out. Good. One more time. Breathe in slowly all the way down into your belly and breathe out until there is nothing left. Feel your whole body grow a little heavier with that breath, a little more at rest. That is exactly where you need to be right now. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a Yoruba origin story. An origin story is a story that explains how something came to be, why the world looks the way it does, why things are the way they are. The Yoruba people of Nigeria have many origin stories, passed down for hundreds and hundreds of years, from one generation to the next, always told out loud, always told at night, always told to people who were ready to listen. This one answers a question that every child has asked at least once, looking up at the wide open sky above them. Why is the sky so far away? Why can we see it but never touch it? Why does it feel like something that was once much closer, close enough to reach, close enough to feel, but is not anymore? The Yoruba people have known the answer for a very long time. Close your eyes. Let the music settle around you. Here is the story. A very long time ago, before your grandfather's grandfather's grandfather was born, before the oldest tree in the oldest forest had grown its first leaf, the sky was not where it is today. The sky was low. It was so low that if you stood on the tips of your toes and stretched your arms as high as they would go, your fingers would brush against it. It felt like the inside of a great soft tent, smooth and cool and slightly damp, the way the air feels just before rain. Children would reach up and touch it the way you might touch a low ceiling in a room you have never been in before, just to feel what it was made of. Old people would lean against it when they were tired, the way you lean against a wall. It was simply there, above everyone, close and present, the way the ground is close and present beneath your feet. In those early days, Oludumare, that name is spelled Olodumare, and it is the Yoruba name for the supreme God, the creator of all things, the one who made the sky and the earth and everything that lives between them. Oludumare lived up in the sky and watched over everything below with great care. He saw the people and the animals going about their lives. He saw the farmers working their land. He saw the children playing in the red dirt. He saw the fires burning in the evenings and the smoke rising up in thin gray lines and the stars coming out one by one above the smoke. He was not far away in those days. He was right there, just above their heads, close enough that the people felt his presence the way you feel warmth from a fire. Not something you can hold in your hand, but something real, something that reaches you and lets you know it is there. The earth in those days was beautiful and full. The forests were thick and green, the rivers ran clear and cold. The soil was deep red and rich, and everything planted in it grew tall and strong. The rains came when they were needed and stopped when they had done their work. The animals and the people shared the land, and there was enough for everyone. Enough food, enough water, enough space, enough sky. And that last part, enough sky, was perhaps the most important of all, because the sky was not just above the people, it was part of their lives. It was their roof and their ceiling and their companion and their reminder that something greater than themselves was watching over them with steady and patient eyes. But people, being people, got used to it. This is a thing that people have always done. They receive something good, and at first they are grateful and careful with it, and they treat it gently. But after a while, when the good thing is always there and always available and never goes away, they stop noticing it. They stop being careful. They start treating it the way you treat something that you do not think you could ever lose. At first, the carelessness was small. A child, reaching up to touch the sky, the way children do, would pinch off a small piece of it to look at, the way a child pinches a piece of bread without thinking. The piece was tiny. The sky was vast. Who would notice? A woman cooking her evening meal, reaching up to tear off a corner of the sky to use as a cover for her pot, just for a moment, just to keep the steam in, and then forgetting to put it back. A man who had eaten too much at a feast and felt his stomach was too full, wiping his greasy hands on the edge of the sky as he walked past it, the way you might wipe your hands on a cloth hanging near the door, without really thinking what you were doing. The sky did not say anything. It was patient, the way very old and very great things are patient. It did not flinch or pull away. It was simply there, receiving whatever the people did to it, clean and whole and vast, holding its peace. But the small carelessness grew into bigger carelessness, the way a small crack in a wall grows into a big crack if nobody fixes it. People began treating the sky as something they owned. They tore off pieces of it to eat when they were hungry and didn't feel like cooking. They used the edge of it to wipe their children's dirty faces. They pressed their leftover food against it to save for later. They hung their wet clothes against it to dry. They leaned things against it, stacked things against it, pushed things into it without a second thought. The sky bore all of it quietly, but Olodumare, the great creator who lived in the sky and watched over everything, was watching, and he was growing sad. Not angry, not yet, just sad, the way you feel sad when someone you love very much is treating something precious as though it has no value.
He sent a message down to the people. Not a loud message, not a frightening one, a gentle one, the kind a wise parent sends to a child who does not yet understand what they are doing wrong. Please, the message said, the sky is not yours to use this way. It is not food, it is not a cloth, it is not a wall. Treat it with respect. Treat it the way you would want something precious to be treated. The people heard the message. They nodded and said, yes, of course, we understand. And then, slowly and without meaning to, they went right back to what they had been doing before. There came a morning, an ordinary morning, warm and still, with the birds singing in the trees and the smell of cooking fires just beginning to drift through the village, when Olodumare looked down from the sky and saw something that finally broke his patience. A group of people had gathered a feast together, a great feast with more food than they could possibly eat, piled high on broad leaves and in carved wooden bowls and in clay pots of every size. And when the feast was done and every person was completely full and there was still food left over, more food than they could carry home, instead of saving it carefully or sharing it with those who had not eaten, they began wiping the extra food on the sky, just pressing it against the smooth surface above their heads, smearing it, cleaning their hands and their bowls and their children's faces with the edge of the sky as though it were a great free cloth given to them for exactly this purpose. Olodumare was silent for a long moment. Then, very quietly and very slowly, he began to move. He did not shout. He did not send a storm or a flood or a great wind to punish the people. He simply gathered the sky around him like a great robe and rose higher and higher and higher, up away from the reaching hands and the dirty fingers and the careless mouths, up past the tallest trees and the highest hills and the peaks of the farthest mountains, up and up until the sky was where it is today, vast and blue and unreachable, so high above the earth that no human hand, no matter how long or how hard it stretches, can ever touch it again. The people looked up. The sky was gone from above their heads. In its place was open air, and above the open air, far above, the blue that they had always known, but distant now, like something seen at the other end of a very long road, present but unreachable. The children who had been reaching up to touch it every day came out of their houses and stretched their arms as high as they would go and felt nothing, just air, just the warmth of the sun that was still there, still shining, but no soft, cool surface to touch, no presence just above their fingertips. The old people who had leaned against the sky to rest their tired backs straightened up slowly and looked at each other without speaking. The woman who had used the sky as a cover for her pot stood in her doorway and looked up for a long time. And everyone understood, without being told, what had happened and why. After the sky moved away, things changed. Not everything. The earth was still beautiful, the rivers still ran, the rain still came, sent down by Olodumare, who, though far away now, still cared for the world he had made, and still watched over it with the same patient eyes. The forests were still green, the soil was still rich, the people still farmed and cooked and told stories and raised their children. But something was different. Something was missing that nobody could quite name. A feeling of closeness, of being watched over from just above, of a presence so near that you could almost hear it breathing along with you. The Yoruba people say that this is why, even now, when you step outside on a clear night and look up at the sky, there is something in your chest that responds to it, a feeling that is part wonder and part longing, a feeling that says, that was ours once, we were close to that once. Something lived up there that knew our names and watched our lives and was only ever a reach away. And they say that this is also why, in the Yoruba tradition, the sky is still deeply respected. Olodumare, the sky god, the creator, the one who moved away, is not worshipped the way some gods are worshipped, with temples and priests and loud ceremonies. He is too great for all of that, the Yoruba say. He is too far above human noise and human wanting. But he is spoken to quietly, the way you speak to someone you love who is far away, simply, sincerely, without performance, from the heart. When a Yoruba person is outside at night and looks up at the sky, they are looking at the home of Olodumare. The stars are his light. The wide open blue of the day is the edge of his robe. The clouds that drift slowly across the sky are the slow movements of something that is still there, still watching, still caring, just from a greater distance than before. There is a Yoruba saying, Orun ni ile Olodumare. It means the sky is the home of God. 4 simple words that carry the whole story inside them. The story of a time when God lived just above the people's heads, and what happened when they forgot to be grateful, and what they have been looking up at ever since.
But here is the part of the story that the elders always made sure to tell. When Olodumare moved the sky away, he did not take everything with him. He left the rain, he left the sun, he left the stars so that the nights would never be completely dark. He left the moon, which moves slowly across the sky on a path of its own, waxing and waning, growing full and bright and then thinning to a soft curve, and then disappearing for a day or two and then coming back. A slow, steady rhythm that the people could watch and trust and use to mark their months and their seasons. He left the wind, which carries the smell of rain before it arrives, so that the farmers would always have a little warning. He left the clouds, which give shade on hot days, and carry water across the land and pile themselves up in great towers before a storm in a way that is so beautiful that even people who have seen it 1,000 times will stop what they are doing and look up. And he left something else, something you cannot see, touch, or measure. He left the feeling of being watched over. The Yoruba believe that even though Olodumare is far away, so far that no hand can reach him and no eye can see him, he is still there, still present, still aware of every person on the earth below, still sending his care down through the rain and the sun and the stars and the slow turning of the seasons. The distance between the sky and the earth is not absence. It is the shape that love takes when it gives people room to grow. When children, even today, ask why the sky is so high, the elders say, because we forgot once to take care of something beautiful, and the sky rose away from us. But it did not leave us. It only moved to a place where it could watch over more of us at once. And on the clearest nights, when the stars are out and the air is still, and you are lying on your back looking up at all of that darkness and all of that light, you can almost feel it, that old closeness, that presence, the sky above you, patient and vast, watching the way it has always watched, the way it is watching right now. And that is the story of why the sky is so high, a Yoruba origin story from Nigeria, told for hundreds of years by grandmothers and grandfathers and elders and parents to children lying in the dark just like you, looking up at the same sky, feeling the same wonder. You do not need to hold on to the story now. Let it go. Let it drift up the way smoke drifts, slowly, quietly, higher and higher until it becomes part of the air. Let your body be heavy. Let your breathing slow. The sky is above you, wide and still and full of stars. Olodumare is far away and very close at the same time. The night is safe, the world is at rest, and so are you. Sleep now. Sweet dreams. Thank you so much for spending this time with Cloud9 Stories tonight. If this story helped you relax and drift into sleep, please leave a like on this video. It is a small and simple thing that helps more people find us when they need a quiet and peaceful place to rest. If you are new here, welcome. Subscribe so you never miss a new story. We will always have something warm and slow and gentle waiting for you here. Good night. We will see you next time.